Okay, people, so now it's February 13th, 2020. I don't know, maybe about 7:30 in the morning, something like that. And I'm sitting here thinking. And I'm telling you, people, I don't know. I'm thinking about lots of things, okay? I seen the eye doctor, and basically what's happening is she's booking me in for cataract surgery. Apparently I have some of that. And she's hoping by doing that, I'll be able to see better. And technically I haven't gone, well, I haven't seen her for 4 years. She said the last time I was in there was in 2016. Doesn't feel like 4 years, people. Honest to God, it doesn't. Maybe 2. I don't know how it stretched out to 4 years, but apparently it did. I know that last year in June, I went and seen the doctor. I made sure that my file was there. I phoned like 2-3 weeks in advance. Say, look, I'm coming to the doctor's office. Can you please pull up my file? Because they had archived it. Because I don't go to the doctor, people. That's one thing I don't do. I'm busy all the time. Busy, or I'm resting. So I can be busy. In this house. That's just the rigmarole I've been in. Right? And with having Amari, you know, I'm going to doctors now, right? Here and there, right? Because I have to go with him. So I'm already out doing that without a car, people. Without a car. I haven't had a car since Uncle John was medically kidnapped. We had insured it like 4 or 5 days, 3 days, or whatever. 3 days, I can't remember exactly. It's in my file, right? Before we agreed to have him go to the hospital in an ambulance versus me driving him to a doctor's office. We thought we chose the safer route, right? I insured the car so I could take us to the doctor. But before I could take us to the doctor, Uncle John's ammonia got a little bad, and it made him a little loopy because he went into a little bit of delirium from the infection in his lungs with the ammonia, the cold that was going around in fucking Surrey, the flu, the one that made me sleep for a week, and I didn't want him to go to sleep and get dehydrated and be loopy yet and not understand what the hell was going on. So I said, gee, John, you know, maybe you should go to the hospital, right? We'll have you go in a non-emergency so that we know you get there safe. You know, I don't have to walk him in and sit in a chair and, you know, stress him out any more than he was already stressed out. He fucking disappeared, man. Right? And then I had the car because I had just insured it, you know, 3 days prior to him going to the hospital. I drove it for the year, people. And then when the insurance ran out, I just parked it because I couldn't afford any, you know, maintenance repairs and tuning it up. And, like, you know, I ran it for the year and then it stopped. It was running when it stopped, people. Over the last, what, how many years? 5 years? You look in my videos, you'll see, what was his name? Red Dog Mafia or something like that. Right? I can't remember. Something like that. You know, he was working on my car. What's his name? Ryan was working on my car. I've had a few people out there working on that car, and the car still hasn't gotten on the road. And now that, you know, I really need to drive more because of Amari, you know, soon he's going to be getting into the bigger, the heavier equipment with no vehicle. Come on, people. My eye doctor is saying that I might be losing my driver's license. Right? That's how bad my eyes got in 4 years. Now, whose fault is that? Well, obviously it's my fault. Because, what, I go in June, I make sure my what is it called? medical files are there so that I can get a referral, right? Then I had to wait 8 months in order to see her. So that's almost 2 years gone right there. Because the year prior to having that referral, the year prior to that, I went to the doctor's office to go get a referral. And because they didn't have my file, people, I left and I just didn't go back because I've been busy. But a year went by before I finally made it. And then I got the 8-month referral, right? The year before that, probably the same thing. Probably went to the doctor, asked for a referral, and they didn't have my file, or maybe it wasn't my family doctor. I don't fucking know. But it never happened. You know, I'm walking down, I walked from my house to my appointment, which is to where the hospital is. I picked up Amari's, what is it called? CD for his botched MRI. You see? They haven't given me Shimei's yet. So I walked all the way there. And, what do you call it? There's homeless people on the street, right? And the $7 I had for bus fare, I ended up giving it to people. I had a $5 bill. I gave it to one person that was sitting in the rain, right? With his buggy and whatever he had in his belongings there, in the rain. Middle of fucking, well, not in the middle of, but right on King George Highway, which is like a busy road. I walked past him, and I'm holding his money in my hand, right? It was supposed to be my bus fare. But, you know, you end up spending like, you know, you can spend $20 a day if Tisha's coming, Andre's coming, and we're all on a bus, if not more, depending on where you're going. I don't have money like that. So anyway, it was not that bad, so I walked. I picked up pictures that I had kicking around in film, right, for a couple of years, got them developed. There's one picture in there of Shimei, some really nice picture of Marcaine with Andre when he was little, and Andre when he was little, before he was taken, right, which I should scan and upload and do with my next video on the monologue of Shimei, because you'll see what she's talking about in regards to Andre being happy and flourishing. So, I don't know. I was going to do a live, but I'm going to try and do a live with Tisha, right? Because she has a cell phone. And so I'm going to set up the live, and then I'm going to see if I can invite her to come on to the live. Because I got this StreamYard that I never use, but I paid for the service so I can specifically do these things. Do something. I'm not doing anything. So anyway, this eye doctor was telling me that, because I said, like, why do I need a referral every 6 months? You're a specialist. It's been determined I have glaucoma. Right? Where am I going, people, with my glaucoma, other than a specialist, right? So why do I need to have a referral every 6 months? Because if I don't make it, me, myself, to that appointment within 6 months, I'm hooped. I'm out of the loop for another year to year and a half to 2 years. Right? Unless I want to go to the doctors every fucking day. I don't know, people. Like it, you know, she goes, oh, well, you know, you need that follow-up, right? Because I'm just a glaucoma specialist, right? Because I tell her I still have this pressure, you know, this stuff hasn't come yet, but it was, and when I stopped seeing her, it went away. And then she suggested maybe it was the eye drops. And I said, well, I don't know if it was the eye drops or if it was the machines. You know, looking into the machines, having, you know, things being pushed into my eyes as my eyes are being frozen. And then you give me drops that I'm supposed to use every day yet. But this part doesn't come until basically, yeah, I see her, right? So for the last, what, 3.5 years, almost 4 years, never heard me complain about that. It went away. Now my eyes just feel kind of tight, right? They're, you know, they're not itchy, but they're scratchy, right? So you can't win, right? You can't win, people. So what I'm trying to say is, oh yeah, she wants to book me in. She wants to book me in with eye surgery. But the thing is, people, you know, I don't know how this is going to work. Between Amari's appointments, I don't go to all his appointments because some of them are just physiotherapy and that type of stuff, right? But you know, the more major ones, like if you know you're going to go visit a surgeon or something like that, right? Then, you know, those ones I try and make it to, right? Well, I don't try. I go to those ones. But if he's just going to physiotherapy or just for a follow-up or something like that, I won't go. But the point is I'm having to go out now more for Amari, right? And now, you know, this eye doctor is on a mission, right? So, you know, that puts time out of my day. That's what I'm trying to say. And then I have to file this lawsuit, people. This is why I'm doing this video right now. It's not about my eyes, although my eyes play a factor, right? And I don't even want to drag this out very long. Like I said, I was going to try and do it on a live, but you got to set everything up, and the computer's making noise, my ears are ringing. And so, but as I'm sitting here thinking, back to the beginning of this video, thinking, I'm like, okay, Judy, I'm feeling kind of abandoned right now because nobody's talking about Shimei, so that in itself makes me feel like nobody cares for whatever reason. And if they do care, it's only in fleeting, like in passing, right? She came and she went, you know? Shimei came and she went. She was here and she was gone, right? Let's move along. And, you know, that brings me down, people. You know, it's hard enough trying to do what I'm doing as it is. But then when you feel like now you're up against people who you thought cared, don't care, or have lost the ability to care about it because you yourself haven't been able to push the envelope, right, in a timely manner to the point where they can continue to care. You know, the story kind of went dead, right? Okay, we know what they did with Shimei, and so what? So what? I'm at that so what stage, right? And I'm telling myself, don't let that discourage you from doing what you need to do, right? And then I ask myself, well, what the fuck is it that you need to do? And I'm like, okay, well, you know, you can mosey on off in the next month or whatever it is and put an application in with legal aid to help you with a lawsuit, right? So that you can draw attention to this situation around Shimei and the ongoing targeting of a family. They have to go together, people. They have to. And, you know, so who are you taking this attention to? If you take it to the Attorney General, David Eby, I'm pretty sure that's his name, like the Justice Minister, and David Eby used to work for, oh, I can't think of the name right now, but it was a non-profit charity, right, that advocated for the people on the east side of Vancouver, which is one of the poorest communities in all of Canada. Right? Something in around that. So anyway, he has a history of being a people fighter, right? But just knowing how British Columbia's, Canada's politics really work in the court system, I don't think just by calling in David Eby as the Justice Minister, right, to court to deal with his employees, right, because it's those sleeper cells people, right, you know, I can't afford to call in Fraser Health Authority, the RCMP, so-and-so, and so-and-so, with me standing there in between appointments with Amari and myself, as everybody's getting mad at me for whatever the fuck reason, because we know that's going to happen, because I'm not meeting other people's schedules or deadlines, right? Whatever it is. And then have to photocopy a set of 4, because you've now got 4 different lawyers there, with you standing by yourself with no resources, losing your eyesight, being pressured to be at this appointment and that appointment with no car, right? No real financial resources, no daycare. And what am I supposed to do? It's pissing rain out there. You know, what if I had court today? What am I going to do, people? Bring the baby with me. There might be days when I might have to bring the baby with me to court. Or it's resolved to, you know, allow other people to, I don't know, it's almost like make you feel ugly. You know, what Fraser Health Authority did to my daughter's body makes me feel ugly, people. And if it makes me feel ugly, right, in terms of how she was treated, never mind how she ended up looking, but how she was treated when you know the truth. No. Like I said, I have to do this, people. I have to. So, being that I have to do this, in terms of filing a lawsuit, with or without help, with or without moral support, it doesn't fucking matter, right? You know, what is the path of least resistance? In other words, you know, I mean, if I keep it on a provincial level, it will always stay within provincial politics, and it will be buried and hidden or put on a shelf, right? I'm pretty sure within the provincial government, I already have my own fucking shelf, people, and because it started off with the trademark and the non-profit when I used to go see those MLAs talking about starting a universal school meal program in this province. So the shelf is half full, okay? And then Uncle John took up another quarter of that. So we're at 3/4 full on a fucking shelf. A whole shelf. It's not just a file folder, it's a shelf, okay? And if they've done nothing to improve anything that's associated to me, whether it's living human beings, as in terms of family members, or a universal non-profit foundation that can actually make a difference in the communities, more than one. But that's not the political agenda, and that's why it just sits on the fucking shelf. So I'm thinking, thinking, and I'm like, okay, just cut to the chase. Just cut to the chase. What's the chase? Well, the chase is, I think I'm going to have to add somebody from the federal government to oversee the provincial government. Right? And right from the get-go, people, I am going to, what is the basis of my lawsuit? Well, obviously, there needs to be a greater internal investigation into the activities of the public union sector, right, who draw on public tax dollars to commit heinous crimes against vulnerable families and individuals. And that's exactly how I should write it. Because it's about justice, right? How the hell am I going to get a proper investigation unless I sue the government to do it? And the Foxes investigating themselves in terms of a provincial, province, right? Looking for those sleeper cells when you've already got a fucking sleeper cell sitting up in the fucking parliament buildings. That's the biggest one right there. Because the shelf is already 3/4 full, people. It would be different if I would never have gone to meet some of these MLAs that continue to work in the parliament buildings today are the same MLAs that I used to go into their offices and sit down and talk to them about the foundation and its mandate. And now I'm going in there asking them to investigate illegal organ harvesting. As if they're gonna go look. Not gonna go fucking look. Some of them are a part of it. Is the federal government involved? Well, of course. It's happening in every province. But it doesn't prevent you from trying, because as I'm walking down the road, and I'm handing over a $5 bill to somebody that's sitting in the fucking rain with their buggy and everything getting wet, right, with a major, a thoroughway with traffic going back and forth and everybody just walking on by, and you think your life is bad? That's what I turned around and I went back. I passed him. I had $5 and $2, and I'm like, what the fuck? You're gonna end up walking all the way to the hospital, right? You can't justify spending, $3 to, do something that you can do in 20 minutes yourself, right? And I didn't really need that money in the context of, well, if you were sitting on the road with a buggy in the pouring rain with your shit getting wet with no place to go, it doesn't hurt to be kind, people, right? I already made up in my mind I was walking to the hospital, so what the hell did it matter to me if I gave him $5? It's not like I didn't have $5 somewhere else. So, okay, I turn around, I go back, and I just hand it to him, and then I turn around and I keep on walking. Now I'm down to $2, right? I'm walking, and I'm like, okay, go pick up the pictures, right? So almost at the place where the pictures were, here comes some guy walking in the rain with no jacket, right? You could tell he's disabled, right? Probably completely stressed out. I would be. And he says, do you have any spare change for something to eat? And because I had that toonie in my hand as I was walking, I just handed him the toonie and kept on walking, people. So, when I look at it like that, in terms of other people have it much worse than you do, I just don't know how to write these. I don't know how to write I mean, it's bad enough trying to call in the Attorney General. And, I mean, I can't afford very much, people. Ideally, I would like Fraser Health Authority to be there. I would like the RCMP to be there, right? Most definitely. There's a couple of other entities I would like, but at the same time, I would still have to have the Attorney General to oversee these different bodies, right? In terms of agencies, right? So, everybody runs on their own binder. So you multiply by whatever, and then there's the judge. So what? I have to photocopy 6 sets of everything just to satisfy each lawyer so they can go back into their fancy-dancy fucking offices with their teams and taxpayers' money to fight me for justice for Shimei and anyone else in my family? Like, it's bizarre. But it's almost like it has to be that way. So I'm trying to cut to the chase. Think, okay, maybe it should be just the Minister of Justice for the province and the Minister of Justice for the federal government. Just bring in the 2 top dudes. That's it. And let them fucking deal with everybody else. Right? That's economical, makes more sense, puts it in the right hands, and then let nature take its course, regardless of how I'm being influenced by, I don't know. I don't know what I'm being influenced by, people. Because I have to sit down and write this stuff out soon. Right? And before I write it, I'd like to know who the hell I'm writing it to. The last one, I kind of wrote to the judge because I didn't know how to write a notice of claim. I still don't know how to write a notice of claim. But I wanted, when I did Uncle John's stuff, I wanted the judge and I wanted the lawyers to really be able to grab onto, grasp, understand, see, acknowledge, whatever, what happened to Uncle John. So I gave them pretty much enough information for them to see that. But because it was a crime that would have jeopardized, that money train, by masking over the disparities. If Uncle John would have been a Sierra, Uncle John would never have been treated the way he was. And that should never be forgotten. Let Fraser Health Authority answer to the Minister of Justice on that one. Because the file is there, people. It's on the shelf. Okay, if I was to take all the paperwork that the provincial government, right, basically has on me, right? Don't forget, there's my grandchildren's files on there too, right? Even Andre's got his own little spot on there. Foundation, a whole bunch of shit in there. Over the years, as I was promoting the nonprofit, right? Maybe about that much when you add up all the MLAs, right? And then, we've got Andre, a whole bunch of shit in there, right? Then we've got, Fraser Health Authority, right? With CIBC Bank, that's a little bit on that shelf, because those are government agencies, right? And now Shmei. And Amari. So, I don't know. Who do I write this to? Right? And why am I writing it? And ideally what you want is you want a proper investigation. It has to start with that. Because once they acknowledge what happened, then we can move on, people. Right? And if the federal government is just as crooked as the provincial government, which some people would say they are, right? Nobody can't say you didn't try. That's the thing. Nobody can't say you didn't try.